Hey friends, how's it going, all you raccoons and sausage makers? Look at this cake I have.
Whoa!
Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire. Yeah, I know, it's very good. It's got a chocolate and a vanilla right there.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl in the same, or are those two separate pieces of cake?
No, two different pieces. This is a National Association of Letter Carriers cake. Don't know why, but I've got it.
I love it. I love it.
Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from Raffle Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam, eating cake from work, Gumbert. We got with us here today, Chad. He's a raccoon or a sausage maker, Michael Ennis.
It's up to you to guess which one in the audience. Submit it into our poll on Twitter. Let us know. Am I a raccoon or am I a sausage maker who controls the raccoons from Heidelberg,
pre-show
Germany?
Stuff is insane. This is episode 248. You can normally catch us on Sunday evenings at twitch.tv/AffleVidiots and YouTube podcast services Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's a little off today, but you know, Destiny and stuff happened. Upcoming on today's show, Elden Ring is a big deal. Apparently, the kids like that video game. PlayStation exclusive gets delayed. You'll have to listen to find out which one. And Resident Evil getting next gen love. Loving all over it.
That means romance options with next gen consoles. In Resident Evil.
Fuck those consoles.
Ooh.
But our main quest today, God of War is getting a TV show. What is going on in the world? This is from Matt Kim at IGN.com. According to Deadline, Amazon Prime Video, them again, is in talks with PlayStation to adapt God of War as a live-action TV series. The Expanse creators and executive producer Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby. Hawk, what an awesome name.
Yeah, right? Hawk Ostby. That's a badass person right there.
You are awesome. As well as the Wheel of Time producer RAF Judkins are all looking to join the adaptation. If finalized, God of War will join The Last of Us and Twisted Metal as the latest PlayStation exclusives to make the jump to live-action television, not counting some of the other flagship games adapted for the big screen, like Uncharted, which came out a couple weeks ago, and the upcoming Ghost of Tsushima movie. However, Last of Us is set at HBO, while Twisted Metal is set to Peacock, which was news that I think happened in the last couple of days, that, Anthony Mackie's Milkman is going to Peacock in Twisted Metal. So
there was a good tweet from Jeff Grubb last week, whenever they announced the Twisted Metal thing, and it was just a very clever tweet that now I'm building up, and it's gonna not be as good now. But it just said, "Anthony Mackie, a bad career choice."
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Pretty good. So here we go. More. Look, this is kind of a light news day. Not a lot of these stories aren't really super in depth. So I got to ask you these questions.
Okay.
It's like, all right, I understand PlayStation's made PlayStation Studios. Uncharted somehow did very well. I mean, it did very well for pandemic era. I think it's one of the highest grossing movies in the pandemic era, which is crazy. Seems like a fun movie, but I'm shocked it did that well. And PlayStation has just gone all in. Like we went from, talking about these stories earlier, like, oh, they're going to adapt that, they're going to adapt this. Now they're just like, there's 7 projects in the making, including Anthony Mackie making bad career decisions. And it's a two thing. It's PlayStation's getting out. I don't know what IP they have left, because they're just like everything is popular, make a movie or a show out of it. Also, Amazon is just like buying up everything. We talked about it, I think, a couple months ago, but like when Wheel of Time took off, they're like, oh, wow, if we adapt things, it apparently is good for our service. And now they're just like fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like Fallout casted Walton Goggins. It's wild. This is an explosion. But what's your feeling on like literally every PlayStation IP being on your TV?
I understand it from a business perspective. Like, yeah, why not tap into another medium and another market where all of these people, we have a built-in audience already. Let's adapt it and tap into that. And I love that people with a lot of money are getting involved, and that it's HBO, and that it's Amazon Prime Video that are getting involved. Peacock, whatever. I'm sure they're spending a lot of money in order to make Twisted Metal on Peacock, in order to make Peacock a legitimate thing. But I'm glad that people are doing it. I think it's a great way to introduce other people to these IPs and get more people into the gaming world. And I will continue to be as excited for them as I am for most other video game adaptations. So, not very excited, and I will go into them and I will watch them all knowing that they're probably going to be pretty bad, and hopefully I will be pleasantly surprised by a couple. God of War, however, is very surprising.
Oh, yeah,
like, it's surprising to me that one... I feel like that's the scale. That's everything about God of War is about scale, and you're climbing up giant titans, and you are fighting enormous like Hades crab or Poseidon crab water monsters and shit like that. And so that seems to me like something that's going to be very difficult to do in a live action show on Prime Video without a ton of heavy like Marvel level CG in it. But if they go, the new God of War route, the 2018 God of War route, it's a lot more grounded. You're fighting a lot more like, Gorgons and things like that. But so maybe that's kind of what they're doing, something a little bit more grounded. I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I bet it. I don't think PlayStation is going to acknowledge what old God of War is. They're like, oh, this new one that everyone likes and helped us sell all these PlayStations. That's the one. And that is just, it's a story about a father and a son. And of course, there's, mythological stuff in it and all that. But really, it's just a story about a father and his son. Pedro Pascal should probably play Kratos because he's always the dad.
No, you can't. No. Pedro Pascal, first of all,
he's always the dad.
He's already playing freaking Joel in The Last of Us.
Joel, have him do Kratos.
He can't be Joel and Kratos. Second, if they don't have Christopher Judge, Christopher Judge is a towering man. He already did a perfect, Kratos, obviously in the new game, but he's a towering, like intimidating man. If they don't have him also do him in the show, there's no reason Kratos can't be black, especially because his white skin is ash in the game. Like, sure, it could be a black man covered in ash.
Kratos is Greek. He's literally from Greece. So he would be like bronze, like he's Mediterranean. Like he's not white, is what I'm saying. Let me look up a picture
not a white dude, of Christopher Judge.
Is he like, he's not Samoan. Is he black? He's a very large, and his jaw is very like set. He's a very intimidating looking dude, but I don't know where his lineage is from.
Perfect. He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
Not know he was Canadian.
Maybe part indigenous or something. Yeah, either way, the God of War, again, we don't have anything, no script, no nothing. They're just like, hey, we're going to buy your rights. And then they have people running it. Again, people love The Expanse. Wheel of Time did well for them, so it makes sense. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is the new like comic book movie. Because remember, there's always been like Batman movies. Mm-hmm. And there were Superman movies back in the day. And then Marvel's like, all right, let's start with Iron Man and see what happens. Because, before Iron Man, there was like the David Hasselhoff Captain America. Like, there's always been comic book movies, but they found a formula and it hit, and then everyone, not everyone, but there was a lot of comic book movies after that. Like DC tried to do their whole thing. Marvel's made 40 movies. So I wonder if video games is like the new IP to like chase after. Yeah. Because that's what people want. They're just like, I need a thing to make a movie about. And it seems like PlayStation's going all in on it. Halo's got a TV show, for God's sake.
Yeah. God, I'm so pumped for that. It's like, what, 2 weeks away now? 25th?
That's right. Yeah. March something. Yeah.
So freaking pumped.
And I forgot about the Mario movie coming this fall from
DreamWorks. Yeah, the Mario movie.
Everyone's going all in on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Pratt is Kratos. There we go. Yeah, let's get Chris Pratt in another thing that he can tank. I'm not a Chris Pratt fan. I was watching He makes money, though.
He does. He makes money. He sells shit. He also, could give or take the LGBTQ community with all of his contributions to that wonderful church that he's a part of. But I was watching The Batman. We'll talk about this in a second. I was watching The Batman in theaters, and there was a preview for Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah.
And I just went, ugh. And my friend next to me just goes, what? It's got Chris Pratt. And I was like, yeah, and he's going to be the worst part of the movie again. He's just not good. He's not. He found a very good niche as Andy Dwyer in Parks and Rec, and he played that character perfectly. And then he's just like, he's the worst. Did you ever see the Magnificent Seven remake with him and Denzel Washington?
No, I've been meaning to. It's been on my list forever.
First of all, the movie is fine at best, but he is atrocious in it. He is terrible in that movie. Anyway, I can't wait to see him as Mario.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I do like him as Star-Lord. He got very buff. All right. So yeah, unless you have any other things. about
I do
that.
have a game
Maybe
on
something
Game
special
Show.
about to
The game
happen.
on our Game Show. We play a game called Game On. The Gaming Show on a Game Show. Game. Twist. In the middle of the show, kind of towards the beginning, up front in the show. What is this?
I don't know how to handle myself.
This is a segment. It's a new game called Smush Me Into a Movie, Daddy. That's the name of this game. It's for Game on Game Show.
I don't like any of that.
And here's the thing. There's a lot of properties we've explored from this first topic. There's a lot of properties that are now getting adaptations. And there's not a lot of money left to go around, Adam. These studios are tapped out. So they have to so they can't afford casting directors. They can't afford location scouting. They can't afford producers on this thing. So they have to reuse existing assets, casts, and scripts from a lot of other properties.
Scripts.
So what we have to do is I have 3 different games, and we have to find a movie or a TV show that we can retrofit to become a movie about that game or a TV show about that game. So something that's close enough that we can just kind of take the existing cast, retool their character names, and just kind of tweak a couple of things about the plot to make it a movie about that game.
Okay.
We're going to start with one that's pretty grounded. Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm. All right. Militaries. You know what?
Yeah.
Just because I love the cast so much, we're going to take like 2006's SWAT, starring Samuel L. Jackson.
Ooh, did that have...
And you know what? They're not SWAT. Now they're Rainbow Six.
Did that have Josh Hartnett? Is that who was in that movie?
Josh Duhamel?
Oh, Josh Duhamel.
Double check it. Somebody else besides Samuel Jackson is famous in that movie. And it's just a movie about cops that are on the SWAT team, so they do tactical stuff. And I think someone tries to steal a plane and money or something at the end.
Hold on.
Who's in the cast?
2003 SWAT. Colin Farrell, who was most recently the Penguin and the Batman. Jeremy Renner. Michelle Rodriguez.
Ooh.
LL Cool J. Ladies love Cool J. Oh my gosh.
And Samuel L. Jackson, huh?
And Samuel L. Jackson. He was not in Google's first 8 actors, but if you click through the IMDb page, then he is the first one listed on IMDb.
He's like the last. Yeah, he's like featured.
That's so wild. He is literally like the IMDb page. He is top billing on that page, and also on the poster. But Google says, "Fuck no."
Look at that. Perfect.
That's
What's
great.
the plot of that movie? Just read.
Okay, I'll read the plot.
I think it's something about them stealing a
An imprisoned drug kingpin offers a huge cash reward to anyone that can break him out of police custody, and only the LAPD's Special Weapons and Tactics team can prevent it.
Yep. Just Rainbow Six dudes now stopping a dude trying to break out. Same movie.
I'm gonna go a little curveball here. I'm gonna say Ocean's 11, and we're gonna take. Rainbow Six Siege, it's 2 teams of 5, one defending something, a hostage, a vault, a casino vault. Maybe there's something in the vault too, a terrorist weapon, whatever. And then there's, a 5-person team trying to break in or steal or rescue or whatever it is. What if we just see George Clooney putting together a team, and we can edit out, all the tertiary characters, like the other 6 of the 11. We don't have to ever see them on screen. So
just digitally remove Bernie Mac.
Oh, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. So yeah, if we choose to keep Bernie Mac in there, we have to go with whatever he's already said, because we obviously can't get him to record any new lines.
Yeah.
Or call anyone else.
I think that makes the movie better.
If he's just randomly shouting at characters we haven't established yet, or saying things that are completely unrelated to the rest of it. So yeah, if we find a way to use those characters and just repurpose them as Rainbow Six Siege, and then on the flip side of it, the hotel guy whose name I forget, he's putting together his security officers to defend the casino, whatever. We're just going to repurpose that whole setup, those locations, for a Rainbow Six Siege movie.
I just have it Siege. Even those the security dudes who are probably unnamed in the script. It's like, oh, Dan security guy. It's like, well, now you're a main player, Dan.
Yep. And we can just CGI a drone into his hands in a shot where he was holding a gun. ET style, where we just replace guns with flashlights. And then we can say, hey, you're the guy who
Yeah.
controls drones in the game.
Absolutely. I like that. Seems like the defending team's going to be a little underdeveloped compared to the attacking team, but I think the movie will work just fine.
All right, we have 2 more. This one I'm going to put a restriction on.
Mm-hmm.
The game is Crazy Taxi. We are not allowed to use the movie Taxi with Queen Latifah and what's his butt from SNL. And we're also not allowed to use the movie Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad you didn't say the thing that was in my head. It's the Tom Cruise fucking Jamie Foxx movie where Jamie Foxx is his driver and Tom Cruise is like a spy or something. No, not Days of Thunder. Type in Tom Cruise Jamie Foxx. Oh god, Dale Earnhardt's back.
Tom Cruise, Jamie
Tom Cruise, it's like
Foxx.
very early in his career.
Collateral.
Like before he began. Collateral.
Collateral is a 2004
is
American neo-noir action thriller directed and produced by Michael Mann from a script by Stuart Beattie, starring Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. It's got Jada Pinkett Smith, Mark Ruffalo, Javier Bardem. Ooh.
How do these movies have these casts? How does every old movie we look at have a crazy cast, but like no one remembers them?
Right?
But yeah, I think he was like Jamie Foxx is a driver, and I think Tom Cruise is either a spy or a hitman, and he's driving him around. He's like, "Oh, do this shit! I gotta kill these people." And he's like, "Oh my god, I'm just a taxi driver, crazy taxi."
Crazy Taxi. It's literally the same movie, but we just have Tom Cruise say the words Crazy Taxi in the middle of it.
It's a crazy taxi. Yeah,
this taxi is crazy. Oh my! And he has to spike the camera at the same time. He has to go like, "Man, this taxi is crazy." Stare directly into the lens.
I love it.
Oh my god! Great.
And it's like 60-year-old Tom Cruise. It's not 2004 Tom Cruise.
Hold on.
What's up?
Before the trio of Mann, Cruise, and Fox joined the film, Mimi later, Genus, whatever, Fernando Miera were all considered as director. Russell Crowe and Adam Sandler were in talks to star as Vincent and Max, respectively. What if that was a Sandler movie? Oh my god.
That's really crazy to 8 crazy taxis.
8 crazy taxis. All right, we can't top that. We're going to move to the last one. Pac-Man. Yeah. How do we take an existing property, a movie or TV show, and make it Pac-Man? This one's going to be a challenge.
I've got it. So this one will require only changing the CG of whatever. So we're either going to take like a Lake Placid, a Crawl, one of those horror movies where people were being hunted by monsters or animals or whatever. And it's a Pac-Man. So like in Crawl, when she's in the basement, it's flooding and the croc comes to bite her leg. It's just fucking bites the shit out of her. Blood goes everywhere. I think that works perfectly fine.
And here's what we can do. We can take everyone else in the movie and we can just we can throw a line in there and be like, they were dead the whole time. Everyone else is Bruce Willis. Oh God. Is there a monster movie where Bruce Willis is in it? Let's see.
I mean, he made 7 movies last year. So
yeah, he did. Bruce Willis monster movie. Let's see. Breach. Split. I mean, I guess Split. Survive the Night. I don't think Google knows what monsters are. Hold on.
Is it Survive the Night like, what do we got?
Breach is one of the 2020 films that he was in. One of several 2020 films.
No.
Also titled Anti-Life. It's a 2020 American science fiction action horror film. Science fiction action horror film directed by John Sweets, starring Bruce Willis, Johnny Messner, Thomas Jane, Rachel Nichols, blah, 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 blah. Show me the monster. This is the first thing that pops up when I search monster.
Yeah.
Earth is suffering an extinction level event. Could it be Pac-Man? And 300,000 survivors are selected to board a spaceship called the Ark. Is Pac-Man flying behind them, going to eat the spaceship, and they have to get away from him? Which will take them to a new colony called New Earth. Very creative. Noah stows away on board, impersonating a junior janitor, while his pregnant girlfriend Haley is put into stasis as a passenger. Where's the monster?
I'm sure there's aliens on the planet that they reach. or something. But again, keep all this plot of Earth is dying, I'm sneaking on this spaceship, and then they get to the planet and Pac-Man's there. Tries to eat them.
Just gobbling up people as they're... Okay, so it seems to me that this is there's a killer on board. There's someone sabotaging it.
Oh, okay.
Blue turns on Ortega, killing her. So someone on board, and Pac-Man's just following behind as they like get thrown into space or taken eject into a little rescue pod. Pac-Man's just gobbling it all up behind, just eating whatever this ship.
So Pac-Man's just a tertiary. It's just a thing that's there. He's not a main character or main antagonist. It's just a thing that's there.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense for a Pac-Man film.
Oh, Noah and Haley reach New Earth, but as they emerge, spoilers for 2020's Bruce Willis movie, Breach, also called Anti-Life. Noah and Haley reach New Earth, but as they emerge from the escape pod, Noah spots another human who turns out to be infected. And in the distance, a huge monster is attacked by a jet fighter. As the film ends, Noah raises his gun and utters, "Burn them all." So that can be, they land on it.
In the last 3 seconds
Pac-Man
of the movie
was following the whole time, and we just see Pac-Man coming up their house going, "Waka waka 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 waka."
Great. I think this movie will do terrible.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that was fun. That was a good time.
That was a very good time.
That's it for Game on Game Show.
Good times,
and only the beginning of our episode.
It's wild. Speaking of good times, we're going to talk about playtime. I got you for 3 minutes, says Macho Man Randy Savage on Spider-Man 1. Chad, what have you been playing over the last however much time has passed?
Oh, let's start by talking about The Batman. I was playing this movie so hard while watching it. And it was, I'm going to be honest with you. Here's the truth. I went to San Francisco to see this on the ginormous IMAX screen there, as I do for most, big budget films, usually that are filmed in IMAX. And not worth seeing it in IMAX. Go see it in Dolby. If you can see it at AMC Dolby, that's going to be the real experience, especially with the score in this movie. Oh my God. Oh, it was so incredible. It's my favorite Batman movie. And part of it is because of just how freaking badass, and I wrote bat-ass here. Wink,
I see it.
Wink. Just how badass Batman was the whole time. I don't give a fuck about Bruce Wayne, but Batman, ho, 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 ho. And that score, Michael Giacchino, get it, boo, get it.
Yeah. I also saw the Batman. I don't want to spoil it much stuff, but yeah, it's very good. For me, it's definitely number 2. Could be number 1, I guess, depending on my mood. But yeah, it's really good. I don't want to spoil it, but the kind of movie it is, the movie genre you would say it is, I'm like, oh yes, I like this for Batman very much. Very cool. Every actor in it is fucking great.
Yep.
Everybody. Even the dude at the end, you're like, oh, he's a big guy, isn't he? And it's like, oh man, this guy's great. I'm shocked that this character is here being super awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, movie's great. Go see it in Dolby. It is awesome, and all the sounds are very good. Remember that part where that thing turns on for the first time, and I fucking came. It was fucking awesome.
Oh my God! I was sitting there in my seat. I was like, it was so badass. Everything about that movie.
Very, very.
There were so many moments too of just like the combat and just watching Batman fight. Just oh my God. Fuck yeah! Who knew that we could get a continually ever improving series of Batman movies in we already had the Nolan trilogy, which was a really, really great trilogy of films, and now it just keeps getting better. Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus. But I also played this week, as most people can guess, we know that the Witch Queen expansion came out for Destiny 2, and that's where I've been spending most of my quality time in life. On Saturday, the new raid dropped. And this is the very first time that we are going in. It's called Vow of the Disciple. It's the very first time that our group of people is going into a raid trying to figure it out ourselves.
Okay.
I mean, aside from the very first raid we ever attempted with Holden and Cozy and just a random mishmash full of people, and we're like, what's a raid? I don't know. Let's go in and see if we can figure out the puzzles. And we immediately wanted to die. But now we've got, 1,000 hours of Destiny under our belt. We kind of feel like we have an idea of what kind of puzzles and mechanics. So we went in, we all took off work and all this kind of stuff on Saturday, trying to figure out this encounter, and I was like so surprised. I was surprised. We have fun, but like sometimes there are some things that stump us as a group, and it's just like, that's just our group. But then we went in there and we consistently made progress on figuring out these things. It was so fun to run in there and be like, how the fuck does this thing work? What are all these things on the walls? We get into this room, we're like, what does this switch do? I don't know. Oh, turns out it kills everyone. What does this do? I don't know. These doors are open. Go in there. I'm dead now. Cool. Awesome. And like, just figuring all this shit out, because that's the idea of these raids, is that like it's a race to see who can solve all the puzzles, kill everything first, and get through it. And so Destiny has these things start. We obviously weren't going to be world's first because we got started maybe an hour before the world's first team beat it. Got beaten 7 hours.
Before they finished, yeah.
Yep. But we decided we were just going to go in and have fun with it. And here's the other thing. In order to give everyone an equal playing field right off the bat, the Batman badass, right off the Batman, they make certain things not usable in the raid. So there were certain weapons that they knew were going to be overpowered. They're like, hey, you can't use this weapon. Gotcha. They also cap everyone's power level at 20 below what it's supposed to be for the raid. So it's purposely going to be a challenge, and everyone's going to be that same level of challenge. It's called contest mode. Because it's the contest is who's the world's first. Usually that's the first 24 hours. And so we were like, cool, we'll struggle a little bit on Saturday. We'll figure out how things work. And then things will get significantly easier on Sunday. And because everyone was trying to log on and there were server issues and some people couldn't even get on right away, they extended contest mode an additional 24 hours, which means right after this podcast will be our first experience not on contest mode.
Not on hard mode, yeah.
Yeah. So we got through. I have as of last night spoiled the rest of the raid for myself as I just got curious. But we did 1.5, 1 and like 2/3 encounters out of 4 that are there, and we as a group figured out all the puzzles. We got really good at communicating. There are like one of the downfalls about not having like actual resources and guides to doing this thing is that you start to make shit up and terminologies yourself. So like we ran in there and there's a ton of different symbols that you see all over the place and you need to call them out. And we figured out like, oh, I need to be able to tell you what I'm looking at. And so we just like, we came up with our own terminology for lack of any other. So like we were calling it, all right, pumpkin nose, rainbow pussy, you need to shoot, witch queen logo, you need to shoot. And so it was just like, we get down there and it's just so funny. I wish that there were people who had no idea what was going on that were just listening in, hearing us in all seriousness be like hearing Audrey be like, all right, what pussy do I need to shoot? You need to shoot dark pussy. Shoot dark pussy. Okay, got it. All right, I'm going down there into crying blood. In crying blood room, is it rainbow pussy? Yes, it's rainbow pussy and crying blood. Okay, awesome. It's like... I wish people could hear us talking with no context.
Oh, man. You'll sound crazy.
Yeah. So we didn't beat even a single encounter the first night after playing it for several hours. And then we came back last night on Sunday and we beat that first encounter within about an hour. That was really thrilling. It was awesome. And then we got to the second encounter and we spent probably like 5 hours again last night just figuring out the mechanics. This is the don't disrupt the caretaker mission that we're on right now. Okay. So yeah, figuring out the mechanics, figuring out roles and who needs to be going and doing what and shooting what doors and stunning people. How do we do enough damage during damage phase because it's an automatic wipe if you don't kill it by the end of the thing. So it's a ton of fun for me. It's stressful for sure for a lot of people, but I had fun because I felt like we were constantly making progress, and that's what I was most surprised at. It's like every turn, every 10 minutes, I feel like we were figuring out something new. We were getting smoother and faster, tighter. So that was really exciting. But the reset comes tomorrow morning, and so we have to make and all progress is reset. So I looked up the rest of it, and if we have any chance of beating it now, not on contest mode, I feel like we have to just know what we're doing going in. So
you got to just do it. Done. Yeah,
just got to do it. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll be playing it several more times over the next few weeks. So
I mean, you can do that anyways.
Super fun. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna do it no matter what. So
yeah, exactly. Awesome. Love to hear it. I'm glad it all worked out. And it wasn't it the same team who beat the last raid the first time, the same one who did it this time again?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the world's first They beat it in 7 hours and 9 minutes or something like that. And they were the same one that beat Vault of Glass when it came out last year. And World Second lost this round by like 3 minutes. They lost by 3 minutes, and they were also second place during Vault of Glass last time as well. So I'm sure they were just like, God, I'm sure they were so frustrated
every time.
Yep.
All right. As for me, I finished up Horizon because, hey, guess what? In the podcast feeder on YouTube, look up RAF reviews for Horizon Forbidden West.
There's a review out there.
There is a review out there. I had Jake come along, Jake from Isle of Misfit Rolls, and we talked about Horizon. We hadn't finished the game fully. I'd gotten I was like over halfway through it on myself. But no crazy spoilers. It's just a little bit about equipment. You guys can go listen to that now. That's up everywhere. So that was a good time. I don't know when I'll get back to that and finish it. Maybe. See, the problem is that I lost one of my power cords, right? So if I want to switch systems, because they have the same power cord, right?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The Xbox and the PlayStation. So I have to physically pull it out. I want to put in the other one. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So once the Xbox is plugged in, it stays plugged in for a week. If I plug in the PlayStation, it stays plugged in for a week. I don't go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I can't find the other power cord. So I'm like, fuck it. So right now the Xbox is plugged in. So we'll see whenever I get back to Horizon.
But the benefit of the Xbox is that even with, what's the quick resume? With quick resume, you can even unplug your Xbox and come back to it a week later, and you're still saved.
It is very cool. And then the other thing I played, I don't know why I got it, but I got Elden Ring. Wasn't expecting to. I went to GameStop and there was a crazy good deal, and I got the game for like $25. I was like, sure, I guess. Shit. We'll see how quickly I hate this. I bought that last Wednesday, and now I am 23 hours in, and I have completely cleared the first 2 zones.
Yes, Adam!
3 zones. Well, 2.5 zones, I suppose. I beat the dude in the castle. I beat both dudes in the castle. I completely cleared Limgrave and the part to the south, and then the place that's a mile underneath the map. Cleared all that shit out. So then I took a break.
I love it.
When I got past it, I was like, I played too much of this.
And you're not traditionally like a Soulsborne person, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are?
I like Soulsborne games. I hate Dark Souls specifically.
Gotcha. That's what it was.
So Bloodborne, cool. Sekiro, cool. Jedi Fallen Order, cool. What's the other one? The Surge, like it. I like that kind of game. But specifically Dark Souls, it always is obtuse as fuck. Nobody knows the story, and it's fucking slow. And this game has all those exact same problems. So I do enjoy it though. I do enjoy this one more than Dark Souls. I think being in an open world and like taking it at a slower pace helps a lot if you want to, compared to like, oh, well, I'm in this level, so I just have to keep doing this and farming souls because I literally can't do anything else. So that helps. But people are like 10 out of 10, one of the best games ever made. I'm like, not for me, because again, all those problems, it's still obtuse as fuck.
Yeah.
So I like that it's the open world, which is cool. But I got about 5 hours in, and I was just playing it normal. I looked up a video that's like first things to do, so I kind of like wasn't completely lost. And then I got to a point where, because there's stuff scattered all throughout the world, and the game doesn't like put markers like, oh, go check out this. Everyone's like, oh, you get explored. So great. Which is cool, except for when I'm playing for 45 minutes and don't know where anything is, because it's obtuse as shit. You have no fucking clue where stuff would be at. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I got a map, and I'm just like, went on the map that's online and just like, all right, here. Because there are multiple like mini dungeons there's this really long riverbed in Limgrave, which is the opening area. And it's like split in the middle because there's like a rock fall, so you can't get to both sides. There are 3 dungeons in there, which you can't see from the surface of the riverbed because it's like 80 feet up. So you can't even see to know that there's things down there. There's only 1 or 2 ways down there. And then even when you get down there, it's hidden off in a corner. So I'm like, I like the idea that you have to explore, but no NPC will tell you. You don't have a quest log. You just have to somehow know 300 feet back in the back of this riverbed, in a place I would never look and I can't see from above, there's a dungeon. And that's the shit I'm like, fucking how? Literally, if you played this game without having the internet, you would never beat this game. Yeah. It's literally impossible because there's dumb bullshit. That's always my problem with Dark Souls. It's just like, how would you know this? You wouldn't know this stuff, and that stuff is still in the game. So, Again, I know people are saying 10 out of 10 their favorite game of all time. I'm like, no, it's good. I like playing when I can play, but when I have to run around and try to figure bullshit out, I was like, no, this is awful. So I just went straight to a map, and I'm just following the map now because it is. I don't know how people do it naturally. They don't. They get online and everyone talks about it.
That's what it is. Everyone comes to work the next day. Oh my God, I found this cool thing in the forest. And if you go here and hug this girl, you get an STD or whatever is going around right now on the internet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
That's the thing where I'm like, yes, I do enjoy the game. It's fun when you get to do stuff, but it's so that obtuseness, none of that shit changes. The speed I'm playing a light character, so I don't have the fat rolls or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, I see the stuff people like. Cause like when you fight like a boss, and you're like, oh man, I'm going to go after this fucking dragon. It's fucking awesome to fight that dragon. But again, trying to find the dragon sometimes is bullshit. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to know that underneath this rock to the left, if I hit this tree, then I can drop down. It's like, fucking what? No, this is not how fucking game design works, but whatever. I do enjoy it. We'll see how much more I get into it. But I mean, I can't talk too much shit. I've played 23 hours and beaten everything in the first 2 zones. So
I'm excited to eventually get to that one day in the future, maybe sometime. I honestly do really want to play it, but man, God, so much shit to play. Horizon?
There's a lot.
Jeez. Destiny?
Too much. Oh, you'll just be playing that for months. But anyways, yeah, Elden Ring, I mean, you're going to know if you like it. I think it's a little more approachable, but it's still fucking Dark Souls, hard bullshit, whatever, made up. Oh, the goblin jumped from behind me? Yeah, I was supposed to know that happened. Okay, anyways. So, speaking of Elden Ring, moving to our quest log. Look at this. Elden Ring is a big deal.
What?
It's from Jordan Midler at VGC. I know. Elden Ring is now Steam's 6th biggest game ever in terms of concurrent players, according to data tracked by SteamDB. The RPG, which achieved incredible reviews when it launched last month, has seen over 950,000 players concurrently playing the game, beating titles such as Valheim, Fallout 4, and Grand Theft Auto 5. The only games to beat this number are PUBG at over 3 million players, Lost Ark at 1.3 million, Counter-Strike 1.3, Dota 2 basically 1.3, and Cyberpunk at 1 million players. So this is already, and again, concurrence means at the exact same time. Yeah. So more than 950,000 people have the game on Steam, but that's just at one time. Almost 1 million people were playing. At launch, this is from VGC. At launch, we reported Elden Ring achieved over 764,000 concurrent players, which was nearly 6 times as many as Dark Souls 3 ever achieved.
Wow.
I believe that number is actually now up to 8 times more than Dark Souls 3, which Dark Souls 3 was the previously best-selling game from Software. So yeah, 8 times more than that game. However, reception to Elden Ring hasn't been as strong as the reaction from critics. A lot of PC people are like, yo, this game fucking doesn't run. Like, I have the best machine ever, and like, it fucking doesn't run worth shit. But again, reviewed very well from critics, so I guess keep that in mind. I actually haven't had any issues. I bought it on Xbox because that's the one that reported the least amount of issues. I was like, sure, I'll just get it on Xbox. But there's been a lot of patches to apparently fix things. So, Elden Ring, big deal. Huge deal. Actually, From Software's biggest game, I think, no doubt.
What do you think it is? Is it just like, probably not George R.R. Martin, right? Like, he's like, what is it about Elden Ring? Just like all the good trailers that we've seen so far? Like, why this and not Sekiro or Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3?
Mm-hmm. I think it's just, again, we continue to get, I don't want to talk too much smack because I understand why people like Dark Souls, but it's gaming press fucking loves Dark Souls. Well, the people in gaming press who love Dark Souls never shut the fuck up about Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's why you see the reviews are good, because who wants to review a Dark Souls game besides people who fucking love Dark Souls? Again, I do think it's a good game, so I'm not really mad at the reviews, but who else is going to talk about it? The people who fucking love it. I think
Dark Souls is the CrossFit of the video game industry.
Yeah,
people don't
absolutely.
Shut up about
CrossFit Jesus over here. I think George R.R. Martin is a big deal, because, again, I don't know what the fuck the story is, but his name's attached to it, so I'm sure people are like, that seems cool, I guess. It kind of had a big thing on Twitter or, social media, and then it getting Game of the Year, most anticipated at Game Awards multiple times in a row. I just think that there's enough hype and enough people talking about it this time that people like really got into it.
Yeah.
And also, it's the beginning part of the year. Maybe there wasn't a lot to play. If you didn't have a PS5 and you weren't playing Horizon, like, what else were you going to do? I mean, Destiny, but outside of the Destiny people, like, what are you going to do? So I think everything just hit at the right time and people were excited and everything lined up for everybody. That's what I think.
Dope. Good for FromSoft.
Again, Dark Souls 3 did sell like 10 million copies.
Yeah.
So that was the most successful one by far, because I think the next one was like 3 million or something. So they just, as of late, have seemed to do pretty good, I suppose. You know what? Time for a segment from Adam.
Whoa! Surprise! What?
You weren't expecting it.
Nope.
And you know what I'm going to do today for my segment?
What? What are we
It's
doing?
a little bit of the game show on game show. On the game show, we're gaming our game show. Game. Chad, you got to do a game now.
Okay.
I had my boy Trevor. I hit up Trevor. I was like, hey, I got a fun thing to do for Chad today. I also hit up some of my friends over at Isle Misfit Rolls, specifically Jake. We're going to play D&D or Elden Ring.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to give you names of creatures and items and things that are in Elden Ring or D&D, and you have to guess which one it is, because it's fucking nonsense. I want you to answer what the fantasy nonsense is. I'm going to roll the dice, so I know so I don't have a specific order. I'm just going to roll, and then I'm going to say it. All right. So, number 1, what is a bat? Oh, and you can ask me any follow-up questions, like, is this a creature, is this an item? That's basically all I can give you.
Okay.
A basilisk.
Oh, basilisk.
What is a basilisk from?
Basilisk,
is it from
aside
D&D
from
or
being
Elden Ring?
in the Chamber of Secrets.
Or, excuse me, Dark Souls stuff. It doesn't necessarily be Elden Ring.
Gotcha.
It can
So
be
it's
Dark
Souls
Souls
universe.
series of stuff. Yes, so basilisk.
We all know that it originated in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And that's where, they use the basilisk fang in order to eventually banish the Horcrux. But outside of the Harry Potter universe, it also is, I feel like it's an old like folklore type thing too, right? Like it's old shit. So I'm going to say D&D. D&D. I'm feeling pretty confident D&D.
So this is the only one that is dirty because it's in both.
Dirty. That dirty little slut basilisk.
Yeah. That's the only one. After this point, everything should only be in one or the other.
Okay.
If I miss something, it's a lot of fucking fantasy words. But after basilisk, yes, everything should be in one or the other. Let me roll and see what we get here. All right. I'm going to ask, you can ask me, instead of me telling you, ask me if you either want to guess an item or a creature.
Ooh, okay.
So you tell me, do you want an item or creature? And I will tell you one of them based on what I just rolled. So
let's go for an item. Let's go for an item. That's something that I feel like I know least.
All right. Kirkhammer.
Ooh, Kirkhammer was my jam in Bloodborne, so I know that is a Souls thing.
You played Bloodborne. All
right,
that
that big ass hammer
with
the tiny fast sword that comes out of it too. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me do another one. Okay. Item or creature?
Let's do another item.
Let's see. Bone seed.
Bone seed. Well, that's what I call my spunk after I JoJo. And my bone seed. But in these universes, a bone seed.
And again, I'm rolling, so there's no rhyme or reason. If it ends up being Souls 5 times in a row, and to me it's Souls 5 times in a row.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Bone seed to me, I imagine it's an actual seed, maybe made of bone. I'm thinking maybe like a face hugger alien egg. You put that in the ground and a skeleton comes up. So that sounds very D&D to me, like a necromancy type thing. So I'm gonna say D&D.
Okay, bone seed is from D&D.
Yes,
it's a tiny bone fragment that when you plant it in the ground, it turns into a giant tree made of bones.
Oh, I was so close. If the tree was a skeleton, well, I guess it is a tree skeleton. Yeah, a skeleton tree.
That's a tree skeleton. Absolutely. All right. Item or creature?
Creature, please.
Creature. Let's see. Earthbreaker Groon.
Earthbreak Groon?
Earthbreaker Groon.
Earthbreaker Groon. This is all right. So Earth, very like all right. It is like of the soil. It's Earth. Groon is German for green. So I imagine that it's like this creature that just like comes up as part of a hill or something like that as you walk over a thing in Elden Ring, and this like what once was a mountain is actually a Titan that you're gonna fight. So I'm gonna say it is a Souls type monster creature.
It is a D&D creature.
Book.
Again, I'm sure there's something similar in Souls, but specifically Earthbreaker Groon. I'm going to double check because that's one I've never actually seen. Jake sent it to me, but I trust him implicitly because he is a DM. What does this motherfucker look like? Oh, yeah. Earthbreaker Groon is a character from Critical Role.
Oh.
So he is a dude that appears in Critical Role.
A human monk.
Which is a D&D.
Completely different than what I thought.
Not a human.
Not a mountain.
Not a human at all. All right. Creature or item?
Let's do another creature.
Let's see. How about a displacer beast? Displacer
beast.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, displacer beast. That seems like something like displacing you in space or time, and it's a little magical. And I feel like that is more D&D universe than Souls universe. I feel like there's not a lot of things that do magical shit. So I'm gonna say D&D.
Mm-hmm. It is a D&D creature. It's like a giant panther that like moves itself around like time and space. It jumps all over the place.
Dope.
All right, creature or item?
Item, please.
Sword of Night and Fire.
Night as in like knight in shining armor, or night as in
nighttime.
Like the night sky. Okay.
Nighttime.
Sword of Night and Fire is what you said?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it sounds so simple. So and I feel like everything in Dark Souls and the Souls universe is like so convoluted and for no reason. So I'm gonna say it's D&D.
That one is from the Souls universe.
Oh, balls!
Yeah, they get you.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm just gonna start telling you these instead of you asking for them.
Okay.
Armor of Agathis.
Agathis? Armor of Agathis?
Agathis.
This is what they call plot armor in Agatha Christie movies. Death on the Nile.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
That's her.
This is what that was named after. And this is I feel like there's like a witch somewhere in the Souls universe named Agatha. So I'm going to say they get this armor from her. So this is a Souls thing.
It's a D&D thing.
Balls, Adam.
This is a spell you cast that gives yourself ice armor.
Oh.
I'm going to do one more. Do you know what the Cleric Beast is? Of course you know what the Cleric Beast is.
Yeah,
you played Bloodborne. I can't do that. Okay. Ooh, which one of these do I want to do? Not the Brave.
Not the Brave?
Mm-hmm.
Not like go on a boat and tie a ship knot? I don't know why that's where
I'm going to double check the spelling on it.
Okay.
But it is not the Brave.
Damn. Okay.
Let me just double check. Yes, it is. It's N-O-T-T.
N-O-T-T. Okay.
Yes.
This is... Okay, so there are creatures in Bloodborne Souls universe,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are also like NPCs. And I feel like if this was in the Souls universe, it would be like an NPC. Not the Brave just sounds like an NPC that would like assist you in something, or you could accidentally kill them and never get access to any spells ever. But I do feel like it's like one of those typical companions that you see in a lot of D&D stuff too. So I think it more fits the D&D universe. And final answer, D&D.
Yes. You're correct. Not the Brave is a character played in Critical Role Season 2 by one of the main players.
Nice.
By the way, I mean, some of these things in here are fucking nonsense. Do you know what the Hand of Vecna is? Could you guess that one?
Hand of
like this
Vecna.
Shit is wild.
I feel like that's an item you can use in a Souls game that, like, I don't know,
D&D.
gives you...
That's what I'm saying. I just look for shit that sounded dumb as fuck. And it's like, oh yeah, like an Onion Knight. That's something in Souls, apparently.
Onion Knight. That's also like the protagonist in like Final Fantasy 1 or 2 or something like that too is Onion Knight.
I don't play Final Fantasy. I'm not a nerd. Anyways, that's it for Adam's segment. That's all I got for you this week. Good stuff. Dark Souls or D&D. It's all nonsense. All right. Moving on to our next topic, whatever this is, story. PS exclusive Forsaken has been delayed. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
All right. This is Joe Scrubbles at IGN.com. Developer Luminous Productions has delayed open world action RPG from Forspoken from May 25th to October 11th. And I'm going to read you what do they say? What they said on Twitter. This is a message from the Twitter Forspoken development team. We've made the decision to move the release date of Forspoken to October 11th, 2022. Our vision for this exciting new IP is to deliver a game world and hero that gamers across the globe will want to experience for years to come. So getting it right is extremely important to us. To that end, during the next few months, we will focus all our efforts in polishing the game. I can't wait for you to experience Frey's journey this fall. Thank you for your understanding and continuing support. Look forward to sharing more about Forspoken with you. So, that big PS exclusive game that was supposed to come out didn't have a date, gave us a date in December, and now it is delayed to the end of the year. So, again, I'll just say really quickly, take time to make the game. But every time they showed this game, I've gotten less and less excited, and I don't know if this delay helps with those feelings.
It is so important with a new IP to make sure that you show up strong to your very first, like your debut title. So take all the time you need, make sure that this one really counts, because there's a little bit of forgiveness when a bad Gears of War game comes out. It's like, it's okay, I'll still stick with the series because I have fond memories of 1, 2, or 3 or whatever it might be. But when it's something new, you got to make sure you land it. So yeah, it's important. Stick the landing on October 11th. No one is going to say, oh God, but I was really looking forward to playing this because I cared so much about the franchise already. No one gives a shit about Forspoken yet. Now let's make sure they will.
I agree. Yeah, take your time. Make it good. Please make it good so I can be interested in your video game. Yep. Housemarque is working on something brand new. Jordan Ramey at GameSpot. Developer Housemarque is working on its next game, an unannounced new IP following 2021's Returnal. Quote, it's early days with us starting a new game, a new IP, concepting it out. Housemarque managing director Iari Katunen.
Nailed it, I think.
Yep. Said at the DICE Awards, according to VentureBeat. We'll see what comes with that. Whatever Housemarque is working on next will likely be console exclusive to PlayStation, seeing as PlayStation acquired Housemarque in June of 2021. So, Housemarque said, something new. We're really early, brand new IP. No mention of Returnal whatsoever. Maybe no Returnal 2, maybe just straight to something new from Housemarque.
Dope. I don't know how many people finished Housemarque. I haven't. I mean, not Housemarque, Returnal. I haven't yet. But from my understanding, I don't feel like it's something that you could add. I feel like it's a standalone thing. It's not let's get a couple extra biomes, just DLC, or let's get a sequel to it where she is fucking stuck in another loop of shit. It's no, I think she's tired and she's ready to stay home now. So
returned again.
I'm okay with this being a new IP, and everything they do is always new. They don't really do sequels, so I feel like that's really exciting for them. I wonder how that is internally at the game. There's the one hand where it's man, this is really cool, and I love being able to work on something new all the time. But then also God, I wish we had a chance to just perfect anything and just do a couple games in the series to really just make it perfect. But I bet it's more fun doing new things.
Yeah, and it's still going to be an arcade shooter regardless. Yep. I mean, Returnal's an arcade shooter, just in 3D, so I'm sure they'll continue that. Funny thing though, I remember bringing this up. Before Game Awards, we had a story about them. Housemarque tweeted out a screenshot of a blue rock or whatever it was. And we're we're going to do something at Game Awards, and nothing ever came of that. So it's are we getting Returnal DLC? What the fuck was that blue rock about? I mean, they're making a new IP. Sounds like not Returnal 2. So I just don't know what that tweet was about. 3 months ago.
Right, I'm looking at it right now, and it's just this blue ass rock.
Nothing came of that.
Ass rock.
My favorite kinds of rocks.
Were they okay? So they did put. So Housemarque's tweet from November 26th. It is a blue ass rock, and they also did #Returnal.
Yeah, but what is
the fuck?
What is that rock?
Yeah.
Interesting. But they said they're doing something new. A bunch of Resident Evil games are coming to next-gen consoles. Oh, it's from George Yang at GameSpot.
Dope.
What an interesting name. I've heard that before.
I know George Yang. I feel like I've been told to remember him for some reason.
Yep. You have to do it because he works so hard. Capcom has announced that both Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, along with RE7, are coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X, S later this year. While no specific date was revealed, Capcom confirmed that these updated versions will have visual enhancements. Furthermore, those who already own the games on either PS4 or Xbox One are eligible for free digital upgrades to the new versions. As for the games on PC, free upgrade patches will also be released when those other versions come out. So you're getting next-gen patches for all of the Resident Evil games. I believe they're all made in the same engine, correct? It's just the RE engine.
Yeah.
So I guess, they made Resident Evil 8. They're like, all right, we've got this figured out, and they're just going to give you free upgrades for every game that they've made, which is, okay, so I didn't play Village because I don't want to get scared by a werewolf. Everyone knows I hate werewolves and German raccoons, my least favorite things. But I remember looking at like RE2, and that game already looks great.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see maybe just ray tracing, but I would love to see what RE2 looks like as a next gen upgrade.
Yeah, that I assume ray tracing is part of that conversation, is like what visual enhancements come to this, because those are the types of games I feel like could really benefit from it. You're going down a completely pitch black room and you have a flashlight, and you're traditionally in those types of experiences, you are limited to what is in the cone of your flashlight. And it's really difficult to kind of make that bounce all over the place. But with ray tracing, now suddenly you have an entirely new perspective on what's in that room and different ways that you can illuminate it. So like that I'm really excited for. I don't know how easy it is to implement that retroactively. Or maybe it was something also that could have also been in the PC version already, or very easy to do on PC. You're like, oh, let's turn it on and then also port it to the consoles. Like that, I feel like they could get from these, but also obviously I think there's going to be probably a performance mode on these and give you the option for 60 frames, which is great. I'm so happy that this is starting, like we're starting to be in that generation where like things are pretty and it's not too much work to make them prettier and free for you. So like we don't have to wait for a remaster to come out and pay another $20 or $30 for the remastered version. Like I like that this is starting to become the norm for this type of stuff. Because I will want to go back and play these things whenever the next Resident Evil game is about to come out. And I'd love to do it in PS5 glory.
Yeah, I like I remember last gen was full of remasters. Just all the remasters were last gen. So yeah, like it's just like, hey, it's a free update. Because I guess, they don't have to really do as much work and like repackage it and everything, which is good to me. Especially, I think they'll be doing this, giving these next gen upgrades, and I'm sure we'll probably see something from RE4 this year, or maybe around that time when they release all of these upgrades. They'll talk about RE4, and then it'll be like, oh, that's pretty too. Like, yeah, it's in this engine. Look at all the pretty engines we got over here.
All this pretty blood and slime everywhere. Love it.
The blood reflects realistically because of ray tracing. Sifu hits a sales milestone and also has updates.
Dope.
Some Darren Bunthuis at GameSpot. 3 weeks. That game only launched 3 weeks ago. I thought it was longer than that.
Wow, yeah, that seems like forever.
Yeah, 3 weeks after launch, Kung Fu action game Sifu has sold over 1 million copies. Oh, look at that. We are thrilled by the reception to Sifu from both fans and press alike. Executive producer Pierre Tarno said in a press release, "We set out to create an authentic Kung Fu action game that paid homage to our favorite Kung Fu films. We're thankful for our fans around the world, but we are especially humbled by the incredible reception the game has had in China. Our internal metric of success was how well the game was received there, and knowing that fans in China are the largest segment of our sales outside of North America, and the positive review from Chinese critics means a lot to us. Didn't know that it was their second best-selling market is China, compared to North America. Very interesting. Mandarin Chinese voice acting was also added with the latest patch, which is now on PC and will be coming soon to PlayStation. So congrats to Sifu, congrats to the team. I think putting in the Mandarin Chinese voice acting is a very good idea.
Yep.
Especially for a game so heavily influenced by, that culture. So good things for Sifu. Maybe also, I was planning to play it, but I'm like, oh, by the time I get this, there'll be enough patches and cool stuff. I'll be like, oh yeah, look at all this good Sifu-ness.
Yeah. It's so wild that like The video game industry is in its infancy compared to everything else, and so we've already seen the Chinification of the film and TV industry. Like everything is catering to a Chinese audience and really being developed with them in mind because they're a huge portion of the population of planet Earth and they consume it and love that kind of stuff. But it's interesting to see it just now hit the video game industry because it was only a handful of years ago that China like allowed third-party non-Chinese consoles to be sold in the country and video games to be part of that. So it's interesting to see that. Oh man, yeah. What if we do integrate Chinese voice acting and probably translation and subtitles and all those kinds of things? Or how are we going to see AAA video games from Ubisoft and PlayStation and Xbox like start integrating more and more things to cater to a Chinese audience or make them feel more included and chase that audience as well? Like that's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to it versus how the film industry adapted to it as well.
Yeah. That's what I'll ask you a question before we move on here. Who do you think did it better? Right. So Sifu being very kung fu focused, but didn't have, any Chinese voice actors, all that stuff. They've all fixed that now. So that game, Chinese focused, didn't add the Mandarin Chinese stuff till later. So do you think that was better or worse than Transformers 5 through 6, always including scenes in China so they could put the movie in China? Which one do you think catered that audience better?
I didn't see those Transformers movies specifically, but I don't think Sifu had Mark Wahlberg. And so I'm going to say Transformers did it better. I also haven't played Sifu, so I don't know if there's like a special Mark Wahlberg cameo. He would be a great opponent.
What if he shows up? Mark Wahlberg shows up and beats your ass no matter how good you are. It doesn't matter.
He calls in a Transformer to come beat your ass.
The crazy thing about those movies, they're bad movies. I still enjoy them, but they're not good. The fact that Stanley Tucci is heavily featured, I think it's either 4 or 5, like a lot. I think that's the movie where they go to China and there's Dinobots. Stanley Tucci, fantastic actor, all over that movie. It's insane how much he's in that movie, being a goofball. The next movie, which was either 5 or 6, featured Stanley Tucci as Merlin the Wizard from the past. Not related to his character from the other movie. Just Stanley Tucci, come back and be Merlin because we like you so much. So Stanley Tucci is in 2 Transformers movies as completely different characters from 2,000 years apart.
And it's not like a Nutty Professor type thing, right? Like where we're all supposed to know.
It's Stanley Tucci wearing a beard. It's just Stanley Tucci saying he's a wizard because he has Transformers technology or something. That last movie was fucking bad. Oh my god. I like those bad Transformers movies, but Last Night is awful. Anyways, speaking of things that are awful, poor guys. Babylon's Fall is doing as bad as it looks. It's from Jordan Midler at VGC. Babylon's Fall, the new hack and slash multiplayer game from Square Enix and Platinum, looks like it's off to a slow start on PC. The online game was released today on Steam and PlayStation. Didn't realize that it happened. And at the time of writing, is outside of Steam's 50 top sellers, peaking at fewer than 650 concurrents on its release day. Less than 650.
Ouch.
It's not good. For comparison, another live service game published by Square Enix, Marvel's Avengers, saw around 28,000 concurrent players at launch. So 28,000 for a game that Square Enix says was awful and it did super bad and also didn't do super well in PC. 28,000 compared to 650 for this new video game that just came out from Platinum, which again is fucking 50-50. You're going to get a good game or fucking trash.
Yeah.
While there are very few early reviews of the game, sentiment around it has been negative, particularly from players and journalists who've played so far. Veteran Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Gersman said in a quote, God, I love this quote, "I'm having trouble thinking of a full-price video game that has made a worse first impression on me than Babylon's Fall.
Oh, no.
This game has a full-court press of battle passes, premium currency, and all this other stuff at launch that feels presumptuous in terms of quality in the game and likelihood that people are going to want to engage with that. It feels very fucking crazy to me."
Wow.
So,
damn.
Again, this game was shown at Square Enix's E3 from Platinum Games. People were interested, and they showed it like 2018. Then they said nothing. Showed it in E3 of 2021. And fucking this game sucks. I think the only review I saw for it was like a 4. So
damn.
And again, this comes right after Platinum Games. I think like a couple weeks ago talking about we're gonna go more into live service games because that and that's what makes sense for the future. And that's what their CEO or whatever, their big guy on top is like, yeah, this is the way the industry's going. We got to focus on live service games, and their first live service game is a fucking failure. So I don't want to shit on them too much, but there's Babylon's Fall for you.
What do you think? So we talked last time about Square Enix having unrealistic expectations for sales for their games. What do you think the press release is going to be about this game in 3 months? Or are they just going to scrub mention of it from anything? Yeah, they're like...
Doesn't happen. We don't know what Babylon's Fall is.
Ouch.
Did they ever mention Balan Wonderworld after it came out?
Oh, I don't know. What was the other? There was one where he plays a blind guy that apparently just got trash reviews.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I feel like that one got completely wiped from existence too.
Yeah, when it's really bad, when it's
game,
when it's good, they say it failed to meet expectations. When it's bad, they just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Quiet Man. He was deaf.
News.
You play the game as a deaf protagonist. That's what it was.
That game came out? I remember seeing that trailer and I never knew anything else about it.
It came out 3 years ago. It has a 28 on Metacritic. Ooh. 2 out of 10 on GameSpot. 3 out of 10 on Game Informer. 4 out of 10 on Destructoid. No statements.
Square Enix sure knows how to make video games, don't they? Great company there. That's it for the news story. God, we've already done our segments in Game on Game Show.
We prematurely shot our wad. Well, so that brings us then to the end of our episode. But we have some good new announcement news. And that's about Barf. What is Barf, first of all? It's Backlog Accomplishment with the Respawn and Friends. It's our Barf game every single month. You, as patrons at patreon.com/respawnnameFire, you go and you vote on what game you want us to play. We give you a handful of choices and you're like, play this game and talk about it, please. And we say, yes, we'll do it. Along with getting wallpapers and stuff too. So feel free to go there and contribute. And you did. And this month's Barf is Coffee Talk. Now, this is not the like full motion video game that we were talking about at the end of last time, right? This is a different...
That was Telling Lies.
That was Telling Lies. No one voted for Telling Lies.
Coffee Talk. Okay. Well, I don't remember if that one got a vote or not. But Coffee Talk is like a conversational kind of like you're running a coffee shop and you like have conversations with your customers and stuff, except for it's set in a fantasy world. So you'll be hanging out, then like a cop comes in who's an orc. And then
you can like, romance orcs and, like, and astronauts. 100% in. Let's go.
Yeah, I've never played it. I just know that Afro Cyborg on Twitter, Joe, really, really likes the game. He's talked about it on Twitter multiple times. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw it in this list. I hope there's romance in it because I chose it for Valentine's Day. So I guess we'll see.
What if it's not? What if it's literally just a game about people talking about their favorite types of coffee? In which case, I'm out. I hate it. 0 out of 10.
No, it's got fantasy, though. So you know it's got to have romance.
There's
an elf kissing.
There is a screenshot where you can create coffee art. You're pouring milk in. You can etch,
absolutely. You can draw the shit in the latte or whatever. I'm gonna put a big question mark.
You can
a big Riddler question mark.
Yeah, a big old question.
Every one of them.
There you go.
Ooh, that's the only thing I'm doing.
Green. Why is the coffee green?
It's like chai latte, right? Like green chai lattes or whatever.
I'm not a coffee or tea drinker, so all of this is new. I'm gonna learn so much from this game.
You're gonna learn so much about orc kissing and all about coffee shops. Very exciting. I'm excited to play.
All right, so play that before the end of the month. If you are playing it or have played it and you want to share your opinions with us, you can do that via email. So you can send it to respawningfire@gmail.com, or you can DM us your thoughts if you want us to read them on the show. Or if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I have opinions and I would like to talk to these fine young chaps, then you can do that. Reach out to us and we will have you on the show and we'll chat and have a great old time. Oh, and speaking of, the last month's Barf is out. We had Alex Kozina on, Cozy Bear. Go check that out. That was all about Quantum Break. So that's out on podcast services and YouTube as well. And no one has taken us up on our guerrilla marketing offer.
Oh, tisk.
The offer still exists. So prove to us that you've guerrilla marketed our podcast to a loved one or a friend or someone on the subway, and we will guerrilla market something of your choice on the podcast as well. It is in perpetuity. That will stand forever. All right, that's it, everyone. I'm going to go play more Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, and so should you. Here's our usual sign-off. That's the sound that some of the witches make in the game.